Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
I'm in my garage. I'm in my garage because I'm going to review for you the iSonic CS 6.1 Pro cavitation-based record cleaning machine. And part of the process that this machine uses is it spins the record around at a very high speed to get the record dry. And there's a little bit of, even though there's a hood on top, there's water that sprays around the room, and I don't want to do this in my listening room because water and hi-fi listening rooms don't go well together. So I brought it out into the garage. Let's talk about cavitation for a second. I used to say that the audio desk, which is one of the first vat-based type machines, that was a cavitation-based record cleaning machine, but it's not. It is a very effective surface cleaning machine that uses a little device inside that creates turbulence in the water that helps remove dirt from records, but it's not cavitation-based. As much as I thought it was, it's not. I don't like to provide people with bad information. It's very easy to do that. Just go online and say you're an authority on things. I mean, there are a lot of people online right now on YouTube that'll show you the 10 best turntables you can buy. Did they try them all? Probably not. Have they been doing this for a long time? Probably not. And if people say, oh, Frember, you're getting very defensive. Well, yeah, you know what? Because there's a lot of people online who 5 years ago were plucking chickens or whatever they were doing. They weren't in this business. They were not reviewing turntables and records, but now all of a sudden they're experts. So I'm going to show you this machine. I'm going to show you how it works. And then when I'm done showing you how it works, I'm going to do it again. And this time I'm going to use devices that'll show you whether it really does cavitate the records. Oh, what's cavitation? That's another thing people don't talk about a lot because they don't really know what it is. So in cavitation, it happens in water, and in the vat that you put the records in, or whatever it is you want to cavitate, it could be jewelry, there are transducers, like loudspeakers, and they're built into the stainless steel part of the tank, and they vibrate at very, very high ultrasonic frequencies from 20,000 hertz up to 150,000 hertz, and they vibrate the water at a very high speed. That creates tiny little bubbles, and the bubbles burst, and when they burst at very, very high frequencies, it creates a very violent burst. And it's not the burst that cleans your records, it's the creation of a vacuum where there was water and now there's a bubble that bursts, and that produces a rush of energy that cleans the surface of whatever is coming into contact with this high frequency energy. I hope you understand that. Okay, so the question in this case, when you have a lot of records on a spit and you're lowering it into a vat, is can you create cavitation in between the spaces, the very small amounts of space in between the records that are in this device? And that's what we're going to determine. But first I'm going to show you how the machine works and what the machine is. So this is the machine, and this is the vat, and you can see there are two transducers here. You can see I've used the machine, and these are what produces the high frequency oscillations that cause the water to vibrate at a very, very high speed. This is the drain, and this is the spit. There's a lot of parts involved in this, and there's a set of instructions that are really only somewhat useful. I mean, they're useful eventually, but they're really small, and they're not organized in a particularly... they need to be rewritten as far as I'm concerned. And you get this, which is a filter, and the filter sits here like this. And now, before I do anything, I'm going to put the water in. You do not want to run this machine with no water in it. Now it's filled with distilled water. Now I'm going to turn it on. Now I have 10 records stacked up here, and there's a spacer in between each with a rubber shield so that the labels don't get wet, which is critical. Now I'm going to put the end piece on and lower it into the vat, and I'll show you that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to degas. You want to get all of the gas out of this. You don't want gas in there because that interferes with the cavitation. You see the records are in the vat. Now you push this button to start the heater for reasons, I don't know why you need to have a heater, but it has a heater. Now it's degassing, and you can hear it. Alright, now I'm going to start the cavitation going. And now I'm going to turn the motor on. And there it goes. And now this is the shroud, not the shroud of Turin. I'm going to put this on top. You can have 33 1/3 records or 45. So now it's going to rotate and cavitate. You can hear the cavitation going. And this is going to go for 14 minutes. This is the fluid that they give you to clean your records. Now they used to have a blue fluid, but it caused foaming. So they have a new fluid that does not cause foaming. But I did clean a bunch of records with this. That's why it's not full. And I stopped it about 3/4 of the way through the drying process and removed some records to see what they looked like. And they had this oily film on it. So what ends up happening is if you dry the record completely, the oily film is drying onto the record. Why would you want to do that? You do not want to do that. You don't want any kind of film drying onto the record. So first of all, if you're going to use this machine, don't use this. In fact, I don't think cavitation does not require any kind of surfactant. And if you use a surfactant, and if you decide you want to use this, you need to do it 2 steps. You need to do it the first step with this liquid in the vat. Then you need to drain the water out. Then you need to refill it with fresh water with no surfactant or this, and do a whole nother cycle to get the residue that this leaves off the record. That's what I'm telling you. Okay, now the cycle is over. So now we stop the motor from turning, and that's at the back. And we drain out all the water into a clean bucket. Make sure it's clean, because you can reuse the water when you're done, okay? Now we go into the drying cycle. We go to high speed. It's kind of scary. Nothing's flying off. I don't know what that noise is. I don't know whether the records are touching the bottom. I put everything on there correctly. Well, whatever it is, let's go. So this is going to go for a while like this, and then it's going to go into an even higher speed. It'll kind of stop. You'll see. I'll stop this for now. Oh, it beeped. Okay, so now it beeped, and it's going to chirp for a while. And you can leave the shroud on if you want to keep the water, because water is spraying along here. But I took it off just to show it to you. Now it's slowed down and stopped. And I believe, if I read the tea leaves correctly, it's going to start up again. Let's see. Yes, there it goes. Now it goes on really fast. It gets really scary. But nothing bad's going to happen. It's going to work. It's going to spin. And then eventually it'll stop. Now I can certify to you that these records are all shiny clean. There's no doubt that they're clean. If you use a spin clean one at a time, it will also be clean. So in this way, and so it'll be with the audio desk. That doesn't mean we got cavitation with records so close together. But these are really clean. So if your goal is simply to clean 10 records at a time of surface dirt, this one definitely will do that for you. Now I'm going to put the water back in the tank, and I'm going to use a cavitation meter to see whether there's cavitation in the tank with no records in it. And I'm sure it's going to show cavitation, but let's find out. Okay, we have cavitation going on now with an empty tank, and I have a cavitation meter here, and I'm going to put it in there and show you. First we're going to put it down close to the bottom, and we're going to move it across, and you can see, oh, it's not even. You can see the numbers not even. Now I'm going to move it to the front. Do it again. And you can see that there are spots where it's low. And spots where it's very, very high. It should be even, is what you're looking for, but it's not. And now I'm going to move it like in a S-shaped pattern. Sorry about the reflection. Oh, look, it's very high right there. Now I'm going to put the records back in. I'm not going to spin the records. I'm going to put them back in and test between the records to see how much cavitation we're getting, okay? Okay, now I'm not spinning the records. I don't want to damage any records. That has no effect on cavitation itself. Now I'm going to put it in between some records. These records I don't care that much about. Let's see what we get. What are we getting? Almost nothing. This is the same place we had a lot of cavitation before. We're getting almost nothing. Let's try between another record. Look. Compared to before, almost no cavitation. Let's try it at the front where there's more space. And don't forget there's only 2 cavitation devices in here, and these records are blocking them. So there's almost no cavitation. Now let me go into the middle zone of a record. Yeah, I don't care that much about these records. I don't think it's going to hurt them. Oh, look, now, in the middle here, there's a lot of cavitation right in this one. That's higher than it was at any point when nothing was in there. So there's really high cavitation. Don't forget, this is a very violent thing. Can that be good? I don't think so. Let's go between this record here. Ouch! Look at that. Okay, now I've loaded up. We're going to do the tinfoil test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tinfoil records. And we're just going to turn the machine on and do one. Okay, it's on. Now we're going to do just one rotation. That's all we want to do is one rotation. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to take these off of here and show you what happened. But before I do that, let me show you, and I'm going to go out into the sun here for a second to show you something. Here's my car, my favorite car. This is the cavitation pattern of the Kale audio machine. One rotation, and you can see that it's put an even series of dimples in the aluminum foil all around. Pretty even. It doesn't fill up as far in as the record goes because I didn't have enough water in the machine. Duh, but okay, but that's what it's supposed to look like. An even dimpling. That shows you that the cavitation has worked. Okay? Okay, so this is the outermost disc on the outside. It's going to be very hard for you to see this. Maybe you can see it, but there's cavitation right along here, right along this edge. That's cavitation. There's a little bit there. There's a little bit right in here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's minimal. A little bit right here, right there. Minimal cavitation. On this side, there's a lot of water droplets, so it's hard to see. There's some right here. You can see some right here. Some right along here. You can see it right along here. But not an even dimpling. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one in. Again, minimal. There's some right on the edge there. There's some right up here. Not much. On the other side. This kind of scraping thing. That wasn't on this piece of foil when I put it in. There's a little bit. Not much. The next one. Okay, this one has more. Okay, there's more. There's dimpling right in here. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it. Trust me, it's in there. So there is a little bit of cavitation right there, and some right up here. That's pretty much it. The next one. Okay, towards the center. There's a little dimpling right in here, but not a lot. And on this side, it's easy to confuse water with dimpling. There's a little bit right here and right here. Pretty extreme, actually. And right here. So you can see that dimpling right in there. And right in there. And the next one. Yeah, so it's here. Some here, some in here, and that, which I don't think is in the aluminum foil, and right here, all in here. See, this kind of thing should be all over the disc, all over in an even pattern like it was on the one I showed you from the KO machine, which only does one disc at a time. There's more here. So this disc actually, this is the best one. This is the fourth in. This has the most dimpling, but even then it's not what you should be seeing. It's not even cavitation. And this one, see it right there, and right there. Right, I'm not trying to flog a dead horse here. On this side. Right here, some right out here, and some right over there. And this one, let's see, not a lot. There's little bits of it. And here's the outer Okay, this is the outermost one on the other side, and you can see there is plenty here and here. A little bit right here. Here some. See that? It's like a line of it. Right there. And there's some over here. All along here. There it is. Not too much. Compared to this. This is what it's supposed to look like. Even dimpling all around. On that side and on the other side. See it? That's cavitation. So there you have it. In my opinion, based upon the tests, this machine, while it has cavitation built into it, when you put this many records on a spit and put them in this device, a jet plane flies overhead. No, when you put this many records on a spit in a cavitation device like this, especially since it has only 2 transducers, you're going to get very minimal cavitation and very uneven cavitation. And basically, what you've got here is a multiple disc spin clean. That's what you got. Now, if it's better with, say, only 2 at a time, spaced with greater space between, I don't know. I didn't do that test. But if you put 8 or 10 records in this spit and put cavitation on and go through the whole cycle, you've basically done spin, clean, and dry. And that's how it is. Okay? See you next time with some more real reviews of real products and not clickbait bullshit. Oh, did I just say that? I did.